This is going to be very entertaining.
Hey guys, it's Lee. Welcome back to my channel. Finally, it is time to show you guys my May 2021 bullet journal setup. This theme took me so long. Honestly, kind of rivals how long my Nightmare Before Christmas themes took. It really was a lot. This art style is very, very out of my comfort zone, so that's why it took me so long. But next time I know that if I tackle something that's really out of my comfort zone, to start it basically at the beginning of the previous month. So it's not this late again. And yes, it's a bit of a different setting. I thought I'd try to keep the color cohesion with the theme, and I dressed up a little bit too. This is the closest thing I had to like an alastor outfit, so I tried. Points for trying, I guess. Anyway, I hope you guys love this theme as much as I ended up loving it, and maybe if we share it enough or give it enough likes that VivziePop will even see it, so please help me out there. But yeah, that all being said, let's just get into it because this video is already gonna be long enough. So this theme I had actually been wanting to tackle for quite a while. I was thinking about it mostly after I had finished my intense Nightmare Before Christmas themes from this year, like the redone ones, and I thought, okay, like this will be a really good one to challenge me more than even those did, because this art style that VivziePop has basically, at least to my knowledge, created entirely herself is so weird but fascinating at the same time. When I first watched, or I saw some of the characters, I should say, like mid-2018, just before the pilot came out in its entirety, when it's just like little clips of the sneakiness of the sneak previews of it, my first thought was like, this art style kind of makes me think of like Bright Candy Pop had a baby with Tim Burton style, you know? And when I wanted to try tackling this, I actually really was stressing out about it because holy crap, is he hard to draw! I mean, I really didn't think it was gonna be that difficult, except for like the head, which is why I started with that first, because my thought process was, okay, his body is very Jack Skellington style with all the pinup and like very thin limbs and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? I've been getting a lot better at Jack's body. Like, this shouldn't be too difficult. And surprisingly, when I was doing this, the head took less time than the body did. I kept in a little bit of the blips, but I did delete a decent amount of them when I was erasing. The body, I think I redid like 5 times. It was so stupid. I kept making them like weirdly disproportional, so it was a true struggle. But despite having that struggle, I really feel like drawing him was easier than the stress I had when it was finally time for the coloring. And we'll get into that in a minute, but let's go into the plot of Hazbin Hotel, a very simplified version of it for those of you that haven't heard of this series, which honestly, if you haven't heard of this series or even like seen a little bit of it, you need to check it out. It is so good, and the pilot is the only thing that's been out right now. There's so many theory videos about what the overall arching plot's gonna be of Hazbin Hotel and everything, and it's just like you go down that deep rabbit hole after you've seen the pilot. It's so much fun. So I really suggest going down that rabbit hole if you have a day to spare. But basically, this series is about Charlie, the Princess of Hell, wanting to make a hotel to really rehabilitate sinners so that they can enter heaven, because there are these exterminator angels that seem to be coming to hell once a year, and they just like wreak havoc over hell and permanently kill people because hell is overpopulated apparently. Which is a pretty interesting concept, to want to rehabilitate people that have already been condemned to hell. But then when you like get into the actual series, even though it's just the pilot that's been released, I love that it's really pulling inspiration from Broadway shows too. Like, everyone seems to have a theme song, and it's just so much fun. So Alastor is like the antagonist of the show so far, because he wants to help with the hotel, but only because he's bored of like being the most powerful being in hell, and he just wants to be able to like watch people fail trying to better themselves, which is a little schadenfreude, I think. Is that the right term for it? But yeah, he just likes seeing people miserable, so I thought that was quite funny. So yeah, I'll leave the link to my favorite theory videos on this show, and my favorite, well, I think there's really only two 2 songs for Alastor that were fan-made, but I'll link my 2 favorite ones and all that stuff. So yeah, Alastor is definitely my top favorite character. And next one is Angel Dust. When I first found a bit of the show before actually like the pilot was released, I remember watching Angel's little snippet of the show on her channel first, and I just thought he was like so hilariously chaotic. But then when I found Alastor, I'm just like, you're awesome, and I weirdly have a crush on you. Does anybody else have like weird cartoon crushes? I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me. But if you do have a cartoon crush, you should let me know what it is down below. I think my top ones are obviously Jack Skellington, and Kishu from Tokyo Mew Mew, and then like Alastor. Yeah, he's in like the top 3. It's actually, well, actually no, like Alastor's more like top 4 now, because the recent episode of Hell of a Boss, this character named Striker, oh my god, another bad guy. I have a thing for bad guys apparently, jeez. Jack's not bad though, but yeah, all the rest of them are totally bad guys. But anyway, yeah, I'm going off a little bit of a tangent. So for the quote page, I used one of his lines from the pilot closer to the end. He says it to Vaggie, and he says it in like the most, it's like polite but also like sarcastic thing, just to piss her off more. So now we're getting into actually coloring him in. I was legit stress sweating so much doing this, because like doing the outline was fine, because I was really just like looking at the picture and being like, okay, like basic black outlines is fine. But when I got to actually coloring him in, I thought I had enough ranges of red to be able to do him properly, but even after testing my reds and thinking, okay, you know what, these reds should work, it's fine. It worked for Jack Skellington in Christmas, it should work for Alastor. And it did not. This looks horrible and I hate it. And I procrastinated for a few days, admittedly, thinking, okay, do I just let this be like this and just deal with it? Or do I go to Michael's and try my best to find more red markers like in the Tombow section or anything, just to get a better dark ruby red to make this work? And I ended up cracking, and I did end up buying new markers, so I'm very glad that I did, because yeah, oh god, that was just way too bright, and I was like, this doesn't look scary at all, this is too cutesy looking. Ugh. So I risked going over top of it with a much darker red, and I was really nervous that the pages were gonna start bleeding or something, especially with what happened with coloring over Eeyore back in November, and I was like, oh god, please don't fuck up, please don't fuck up. But luckily it ended up working, and I just kept testing all the reds that I bought before I even drew onto him, and did my absolute best to match the colors of this original photo. Oh, I am pleased. I feel like this was definitely worth the stress. Finally complete, done my procrastination. So let's move on to the schedule page. So this one, after the struggle of drawing the cover page, I was like, do I want to do Alastor again? Because even though he is my favorite character, oh my god, it took so long, but I was like, you know what, you're already late with this video, you might as well just go all out with this schedule page. And I literally finished drawing this Alastor yesterday. Ridiculous, I know. But I'm glad I spent the extra time on it. I shouldn't have procrastinated as long as I did, because I was honestly just like so scared of sucking. Like, I think I just bit off more than I could chew. I should have started this way earlier, and maybe then I wouldn't have procrastinated so hard. But you know what? I am so happy with how this one turned out. I actually like this Alastor way more than my cover page art, so part of me is like, ooh, should I use him for my thumbnail instead of the actual cover page? But you know, then it wouldn't work with the actual layout. So I'm still proud of both, but this is definitely my favorite one. But this one, I was stress sweating doing the outlines and everything too, because this one was more intense digital art shading than the first inspo photo that I found. And I was like, well, a lot of this also has to be over top of my actual calendar page. So I was like, how am I gonna do this so it looks like mirroring and everything so I can still write in the boxes? I had to wash my hands like 3 times doing this drawing because I was just like, I'm literally sweating too much. It's gonna get on my book. I did my 6x6 regular squares. I didn't think that having an open lined schedule page like I did for April would really work for this one, and it looks a lot better in my opinion having it just squared. And the reason I did like these drippy things is because on the Hazbin Hotel logo they had some of those drip things coming down from some of the words. So I took pieces of the logo and like planted it into this schedule page. And that's kind of what I did with Nightmare Before Christmas stuff, just picked things from the movie, little symbols that I could find just to kind of make everything really cohesive. And for the dots, I wanted to bring out a little bit more red, and I ended up using my white gel marker to do the letters, and not the letters, to do the numbers. And they ended up turning like a light pink because of how deep red the tombow was, and I think it looked really nice. However, I should have made bigger circles with the numbers because with this white gel pen, it's like very thick liquid. You can't really make it super thin like my black pens can. So some of the numbers are a little bit hard to read, but I'm already halfway through the month and I already kind of like knew what days were which by using my weekly spread, so it didn't bother me that much. But if you did want to try that tactic, make sure you do bigger dots so you have more room to use the gel marker. And even though I had just finished coloring in the cover page, I still had to test all these markers to make sure that it matched the colors of the cover page so that I knew I would like how everything looked cohesively. But even still doing this, I was still nervous that the colors weren't going to look good. I was really overthinking myself at this point, so I have like this whole huge piece of paper just like testing all the markers multiple times to really make sure that I'm picking the right shade, because oof, the stress was real. So I thought it still looked really white, so that's why I used my Distress Ink Black Soot color. I really like having that little accent thing. It just brings a little bit more darkness to an otherwise overly bright page. So that's it. I love this schedule page. It turned out much nicer than I was anticipating, so I'm very happy that this is one of the pages I get to look at the most. So now we're back to the actual pages I filmed first, even though they're in this section of the video. Apparently my analytics show that not many people get to this point of the video, so if you've gotten to this point of the video, comment below the timestamp of this so I know that you're not lying. But for the May to-do list, I just stuck with just little things from the Hazbin Hotel logo, pulled in some bright circle lights with the type of font that they used, and just a little bit of music notes because this show is very music oriented. And threw in a little bit of black and red washi tape since I really just didn't want to do any more drawings. Nope, only for the necessity pages, not for to-do list pages. I felt like there was no point, especially with how long this video was already taking me to do. And again, I used the Distressed Ink Black Soot, except this time I accidentally put on a little bit too much ink on my blending tool, so it looks a bit messy and didn't blend very nicely, but yeah, I kind of just dealt with it because I couldn't fix it. And now for the mood tracker and habit trackers. So these tracker headings, again, I pulled the font from the Hazbin Hotel logo. I was happy that I was actually able to use the key design that they used on their letter T in the logo, so that's why I did that. I probably should have zoomed in so you could see like the heart inside the key, but yeah, you can basically tell it like looks pretty similar to the logo. And I wanted to keep the mood tracker very simple, again, because all of the drawings that I had to do were very, very hard, so I was like, I gotta keep the mood tracker as simple as I can. So I thought it'd be a fun idea to just add a lot of flames. We are in hell after all. So made it look more like a fireplace. I found a photo that I based this off of. Yeah, I did my best coloring it in like a fireplace, and I kind of effed up on the rocks a little bit at the very beginning there, but I think by the time I was done coloring them in and kind of fixed it, I don't think it looks too bad. Habit tracker is just the same as always. I did end up accidentally lifting them up a little bit higher than I was supposed to, so I had this giant gap there, and I didn't do it on camera sadly, but I had the idea a little bit later to fill it in with, oh god, what's his name? Angel Dust's little pig. Yeah, you'll see it at the very end of the video. So we're on our last spread of this setup. Another big drawing. This time I decided to go with Angel Dust, and after I finished drawing this weekly spread, I decided that the rest of the month for weekly spreads will just be Angel Dust based. So the font that I used for May actually isn't from Hazbin Hotel at all. I wanted to get a little bit more creative with it, so I found a Halloween font, and I'll leave the link to that below if you're interested in using that font for anything that you want. But I drew a picture of a chibi angel dust right smack dab in the middle of the page and decided to keep my lines for each day open so that it would be easy to write my to-do list around him. And Angel Dust surprisingly didn't take me too long to draw. I think it was because this style was in chibi form and it's not in like Vivzy Pop's original design. That's very out of my comfort zone. I'm very glad I'm trying it, like I said, but chibi and cute drawings are way easier for me, like way easier. So I'm not entirely surprised that this was a lot less stressful for me to draw. Also, please ignore my janky nails. Since this was taking me so long, my nails were slowly just like coming apart, and now I'm at the point where I literally have none left. And all the salons are closed, so I couldn't really like get red nails to kind of match with the theme, but I don't know, well, hopefully lockdown will end soon and then I can get pretty nails again. I thought it looked a tad plain, so I added a little bit of cartoon angel wings at the top where May is, and added a bunch of like little doodles and stars, and add a little bit more like a oomph to the page. Alright, so here is my long overdue Hazbin Hotel, but basically just alastor and Angel Dust themed bullet journal. Again, so sorry this took me so long, but you know what? Even though it took me forever, I love how this turned out. It exceeded my expectations for it, and I'm very proud of myself for sticking through it. Alright, so that's the end of my setup. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know which one was your favorite spread or favorite photo from one of the spreads. And yeah, I will show you guys the original creations here, and make sure you follow these artists. They are much more talented than I am. And also follow Vivzy Pop, like, especially, oh my god, her new show, The Hell of a Boss show. Ooh, love it. Chef's Kiss, so good. Especially Striker. Once you get to episode 5, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's all I have for today. I will see you guys soon for June setup. It's gonna be a lot simpler than this one, because I'm pretty burnt out from drawing. Until then, I will see you pretty soon? Probably in like a week or two. But until that setup, it's going to be a bit of a break for me from this channel. I'll be focusing more of my attention on the other one. So if you're interested in seeing that one, the link to that is also in the description. So until next BUJO setup, I will see you guys next time. Bye!
looks like a strawberry pimp.